All right. So, what kinds of affixes do we have here? What's the difference between a suffix and affix? I'm getting there. Excellent question, Tuffy. I'm about to answer you. Okay. Some affixes go at the beginning of words. We call them prefixes. Unhappy, disinterested, transmit. Right? Yeah, that's exactly right. Suffixes go at the end. Finding the plural S, the ER for clicker, right? Notice I told you, that ER, one who does this. What's a clicker? A clicker is one who clicks, right? I suppose a bloater is one who bloats, but, it's the same basic. Yeah, right. The affix is the umbrella term for the others. That's right. And the third logical possibility is an infix. And I promised you guys I would talk about this today. So we're going to do a brief digression into infixes, even though it's a very minor part of English morphology. Some languages use it productively. Like, I don't know. Anybody here speak Tagalog? Mm-hmm. Your mother, Mickey. So Tagalog uses, don't ask me much about it because I know almost nothing about Tagalog, except I do know that it uses infixation the same way that we might use suffixing or prefixing. In other words, they deliberately stick stuff in the middle of words. So in English, infixing is the insertion of one thing, right? Like we don't, in English, we don't insert just for ordinary roots into it, right? It's a very restricted, limited thing, and you can see like absolutely, right? Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins, fan fucking tastic, which we all know. We've inserted one word into another, right? Po solemn out. So where does the po go there, Mickey? Probably where into the word? You just insert it into the middle of the word. It goes at the end. So that would be a suffix, right? I had some examples in the notes that I was looking at for this, but since I don't know any Tagalog, I figured I would not pretend, to it. So, so basically, what's happening here, and the reason why we call it infixing, is this is being inserted into the middle of a root. Right? Absolute, solute, right? We're not tacking it on to the end. So in other words, it's different from prudishness, from that. So ish there. So we start with prude, then we add prudish, and then we add ness, right? So that's built up in layers. It's not inserted into the middle of it. It is it's a etymological change. I believe it's suffix, where the B gets assimilated. In other words, it's attached beneath or under, at the end. All right. Give you a minute to assimilate that XKCD cartoon. Yep. So, where do you want to stick? Where do you want to stick it in these words? California. Okay? Mm-hmm. Abso-fucking-lutely, minute-fucking-soda, alla-fucking-bama, California, basket-fucking-ball. Okay. Fucking Alabama. Notice that, except for Tuffy, who's being deliberately departing from the norm, that even though, with the possible exception of absolutely, I would guess that probably none of you have ever heard anybody actually use fucking insertion with any of these other words. Am I right? Basketball fucking ball sounds a little odd. You want a even weirder one? What about this last one? You've heard California? Okay. Base fucking ball. That sounds kind of weird. That sounds weird, doesn't it? Yeah. In other words, you can't just stick it in wherever you want, right? There are some limitations. There are some implicit rules that we are all following here, which tell us that some of these are perfectly well formed, even though you've never heard anybody say most of them, maybe just two, right? But so let me give you, I'm giving you a series of examples. Tell me which of these you like and which of these you don't like. Yeah, they are compound words, but there's more to it than that. Unbelievable fucking able. Yeah, I mean, look, the point is, I wanted to show you, like, there's a bunch of places, like, we're very limited as to where we can stick it in. There are only a limited number of positions that are suitable. So if we can generalize from what we're seeing here, in the left column, notice fucking tick doesn't work, right? We can't stick it in there. You know, I mean, I didn't give you all possible permanent. Fucking astic also doesn't work, right? Fucking tastic works great. Okay, so what's going on there? Well, the biggest, most obvious thing is, first of all, we've got a polysyllabic word, right? And we've got a stressed syllable immediately before the insertion. Tastic, right? Notice, fucking tick. We don't have, you know, we just have one unstressed syllable at the end, right? It doesn't work. So it needs to go in front of a stressed syllable. It doesn't have to be the most stressed syllable. Unfucking believable works just fine. There's a bit of disagreement in the literature as to why that works, but one line of thinking, there's some complicated stuff that I won't get into, but one line of thinking is it's related to the fact that you can say fucking fantastic. Notice, fantastic fucking is something entirely different, right? Totally changes the meaning. Unbefucking leavable people have different opinions on. I find it acceptable, right? And notice, again, leavable. Stress immediately before a stress syllable. It works, right? Unfucking believable. Some people think it works because of the fact that believable is itself a freestanding word, and so just as fucking fantastic works, fucking believable works, and so putting the in there doesn't change what's going on there. Okay, but the others don't work because of these prosodic constraints, basically. So you can only stick it in when the next syllable is stressed, and you have the other things. So that's why, like, not everybody was sold on basketball, but ball is a stressed word there, right? So basket fucking ball works, kind of, right? But baseball, notice base is the part of that word that takes the stress, not ball. So base fucking ball sounds weird, right? Now, cursing or euphemisms for cursing are the main way to do it, and this is the general thing. But there are some interesting, relatively recent developments in this that I thought I would mention before we return to our regularly scheduled programming. And the first is a Simpsons reference. And this is related but not quite the same as curse infixation, and this is what Ned Flanders does on the Simpsons, right? Well diddly elcum, scrum diddly umptious, right? Mer diddly erder. Now, take a look at these forms and tell me if you can see what's different about the way that this diddly insertion works from the way that fucking insertion works. Precisely so, Kiwi. Notice, if you get rid of the diddly, you'll see that there is a duplication of the syllable. Well elcum, scrum umptious, mer erder, right? So, and that is prosodically necessary, right? Because if you didn't do that, you get well diddly cum, or in other words, it would violate the same rule that we just derived for fantastic or unbelievable. In other words, it's not a so we get around that by repeating the syllable. I love the fact that Ned Flanders, the ultimate holy guy here, has his sanitized version of curse infixation, right? Which is its own thing. So now, here's another one that will probably sound really bizarre to you, but it's been attested recently among the Utes. These are authentic examples culled from Twitter. What's your judgment of these? Good question, Tuffy. Does it, can you stick anything in there? Probably. Well, fucking elcum. Well, I mean, it probably needs to be polysyllabic. Well, damn elcum doesn't sound right to me. Well, damn it elcum? Maybe. Yes, Kiwi, that was a My Cousin Vinny reference. I do like that movie a lot. It's the Utes. What's a Ute? Yeah, you got it. The two U's. So like has been used and is growing in popularity in what linguists call quotative like. And this is, so she's like, no way, man. Things like that. And it seems that some younger kids, especially younger women or girls really, since we're talking about teenagers, are who as we might or might not talk about at some point, tend to be one of the main drivers of linguistic change over time, are using this more and more often. You know, like they've taken the quotative like, and they're now using it for infixation. Like for like ever, that might sound okay, but one reason why it sounds okay is for and ever, even though forever is one word, for and ever definitely have this sort of existence as separate words. And in fact, in the 19th century, they were often spelled as two separate words. So, how very, yes. I probably use like a lot too.